Just tap the mic first.
morning, everyone. Welcome. So, thank you for coming. So today we're going to do something quite extraordinary. And we're going to meditate on redesigning our mind. You thought that wasn't possible, didn't you? But so we're going to begin to change our mind from just ordinary to something extraordinary, because we're going to engage in this practice of particularly meditating on taking away other people's suffering and giving them happiness instead, and particularly our own happiness out of our desire, out of our strong love and compassion for other living beings. Yeah. And it's a magical process, because it really begins to purify our mind, and it generates a vast amount of positive energy. You'll experience this yourself. And what it's doing also is simulating what an enlightened being would be doing. I'll tell you a little story. Several years ago, maybe 20 odd years ago, there was a javelin thrower. In how they throw javelins here. Anyway, you're thinking, what's this got to do with Buddhism? Anyways, there's a javelin thrower called Steve Backley, and he was the world champion throwing the javelin. Come in. If you come in late, you have to sit at the front. So we're just talking about javelin throwing, actually. And so it was about 3 months away from the Olympic event, and he was expected to either win or get a medal anyway. But then he got injured, and he couldn't throw the javelin. But what he did was to just imagine he was throwing the javelin in his daily practice, his daily routine. And just about a week before the competition, he was able to start throwing the javelin again. And he won the silver medal at the Olympics, all because he visualized this process of doing what he'd done before, and just doing naturally. And so the visualization, just using his own mind, enable him to actually throw the javelin. So this is the function of this practice of taking and giving. We're visualizing our actions of being compassionate to other living beings, to actually taking away their suffering. As ordinary beings, we can't initially do that. It's virtually impossible. We can maybe benefit other people a little bit, but we can't take away other people's suffering. Only they can do it for themselves. Only you can solve your suffering problem. No one else can do it for you. So in the same way, we can't immediately take away other people's suffering and destroy their suffering. But what we can do is visualize being able to accomplish that at some time in the future. And that's all that's all we're doing. And the power of this, our imagination, everything begins with imagination. If you can't imagine something, you can't possibly do it. So if you can't imagine going to Spring Festival, you're never going to go to a Spring Festival. So you have to be able to imagine something like that. You have to be able to imagine building a house like this. An architect designs this building, and then eventually it comes into existence. In the same way, if we can imagine ourselves being able to free others from their suffering and give them happiness instead, how meaningful does our life become? Because we're practicing this in our daily life, and then maybe we can accomplish it, because maybe we get enlightened. We're practicing throwing the javelin. We're practicing being an enlightened being. Wouldn't that be cool if we could accomplish that? Yes. No, you're not interested. I mean, if you think about it, all the things we normally desire, a nice place to have a coffee, nice park to have a walk around, nice friends, nice things to eat, nice place to stay, nice place to go on holiday. All these external things, at the end of the day, have no real meaning. They're just temporary solutions to our suffering problems, our problems of loneliness, our problems of boredom, and so on. Just temporary solutions. What we need is a permanent solution, and not just for one lifetime either, not just for a few months, a few weeks, or one lifetime. We need solutions for all our future lifetimes. Because, at the end of this life, the next one starts, the next moment. You think it's all over when we die. It's not. It all starts up again with birth, aging, sickness, death again, and so on. We go through this cycle over and over. So the real issue is, what is your next life going to be like? And what is the one after that going to be like? Yeah. So this meditation and following Buddha's teachings enables us to begin to plan for our next life. So investing in our kind of next life pension, so to speak. Putting money away for our next life and the one after that. Yeah. So, well, that's all I want to say. We're going to function mainly by meditating today, and we'll begin with liberating prayer. And while we're doing liberating prayer, try to think of, you need to develop a mind of compassion. Here we are with this extraordinary opportunity we have, because we're meeting Buddha's teachings. And this gives us an extraordinary opportunity to do something really special with our life, to develop this beautiful mind of compassion that wishes to take away other suffering. So just try and have that mind as we go through liberating prayer.
O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge supreme, unchanging friend, I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you. May all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forevermore.
And so we can do a brief meditation just to settle our mind. So sitting in good meditation posture, just to calm our mind, just watch the rhythm of your breathing for a few moments. And then see if you can find a feeling at the tip of your nose. As you breathe in, feel slightly cool, and as you breathe out, slightly warm. And if you can find that feeling, just allow your whole mind to relax into that feeling. As if your whole mind becomes absorbed with that feeling. And you may notice a deep feeling of stillness in your mind. From this stillness comes deep feeling of peace and contentment. So when you arise from meditation in a few moments, try to remember any feelings of peace and contentment. You can bring them back again anytime and anywhere. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. Allow your mind to come back to the room. And when you're ready, you can arise from meditation. There's a beautiful chapter on this practice of taking and giving in this text, How to Transform Your Life, which you can have for free in a digital version, not the hard copy. You pay for the hard copy, sorry. But you can have the digital version free. I'm just going to read a few excerpts from this. Through the practice of taking and giving, we can further improve our love and compassion. So we all have minds of love and compassion, but they're restricted. We're restricted to a few people, and we don't always have them. It's kind of little flashes of love and compassion from time to time. Is that right? So what we're saying, this practice is going to improve our experience of love and compassion. And what we're doing when we have this mind of love and compassion, then all our actions will follow. And we create more joy and happiness for ourselves and for other people. So in dependence upon this practice, we can develop superior bodhicitta. The word bodhicitta means the mind of enlightenment. So if we develop bodhicitta, then we have a mind that seeks to become the best we can be in order to really benefit other people. You get so much joy and peace and happiness from bringing benefit to other people. And so when we develop this mind, this is the ultimate way in which we can bring benefit to other people. Because then we're enabled to show other people the way to enlightenment as well. So if we climb to the top of the mountain, we can show other people how to climb to the top of the mountain. In the same way we become this great spiritual being, we can show other people how to become a great spiritual being too. And that gives them their happiness. That's their opportunity to find happiness too. When we first meditate on taking and giving, we cannot actually take on the sufferings of others, nor give them our happiness. But by imagining that we are doing so now, we're training our mind to be able to do so in the future. We have the potential for this ability, and this is part of our Buddha nature. So everyone has this potential. Everyone has the potential for a mind of great compassion and great love and great wisdom. So what we're doing in these meditations is to ripen these minds, these potentials. Through practicing the meditations on taking and giving with strong compassion, the potential to be able to benefit all living beings will ripen. And when this happens, we will become an enlightened being, a Buddha. So you can imagine, everyone in this room becomes a Buddha. How much benefit will that be for the people in Liverpool and elsewhere? If you, Merseyside maybe, I don't know where you come from. But we just naturally spread benefit. We naturally improve the conditions, the mental conditions of everyone around. So this practice also causes our mind and actions to become pure, and eventually we will develop the ability directly to take on the sufferings of others and give them happiness. So there's many stories from scriptures of great yogis who have done this. There's a famous story about the Tibetan yogi Milarepa, who had met someone who was really suffering from a bad headache. And so Milarepa did this practice of taking and giving. He took away his headache. But unfortunately, the poor man didn't believe it was due to Milarepa. So Milarepa gave him back his headache. And then he was so it was even worse than before. So Milarepa took it back again and put it on a door, and the door began to shake. So the story goes. I don't know how this works, but how you make doors shake. But anyway, maybe you have the power to be able to do that. So, first of all, we're going to engage in the practice of taking on our own future suffering, because that's the easiest part. We're so concerned with our own suffering, we want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So we're going to imagine that we're taking on our own future suffering of all our future lives. Okay, do you want to do this? But in the process, what we're doing is changing our mind. The cause of all our suffering is our own self-cherishing mind, our own mind that's thinking only my happiness, only my freedom is important. And in dependence upon that mind, we engage in all kinds of hurtful actions. Because we don't care about other people. We don't have time for other people. We're too busy looking after ourselves. So that mind itself is the source of all our problems. So if we get rid of that mind, if we destroy that mind, then our mind opens up to become more loving and compassionate. So then in the first part of the meditations, we're going to do the practice of taking on our own future suffering. And if in the process we destroy the causes of that suffering, our own self-cherishing mind. Don't worry, you won't stop caring for yourself. You still engage in actions that you'd still continue to look after yourself, but you won't see yourself as the center of the universe so much. And you create room to be more compassionate and loving towards other people. Okay, sit in good meditation posture. For a few moments, just watch the rhythm of your breathing. And then contemplate the sufferings that you've already experienced in this lifetime. And then think about the sufferings you will have to experience in the rest of this lifetime. As you age, you experience the sufferings of aging. as you get sick and you experience the sufferings of sickness, as you approach the loneliness and uncertainty of death, and you experience the sufferings of death, and then rebirth, the sufferings of taking birth again into samsara. And this continues life after life. So contemplate the sufferings you may have to experience in your next life. And then the one after that. And the one after that. And so on. An endless stream of sufferings in samsara, sometimes much worse than in this lifetime. And when you contemplate these sufferings, these difficulties, these torments, thought arises, I cannot bear all of that suffering. I cannot bear to experience all that suffering in all my future lives. And so when you come to that conclusion, all that suffering, all that future suffering transforms into black smoke. In every one of your future lives, your projected suffering turns into black smoke. And this smoke gathers in front of you right now. And you see this cloud of thick black smoke developing in front of you. And you realize this is all my future suffering. This is what I will have to endure if I do not destroy it right now. And so you take this cloud of thick black smoke into your heart. And immediately and spontaneously it destroys the causes of your suffering, your own minds of self-grasping and self-cherishing. So really feel that the causes of your own suffering, your future suffering, have been removed. Your self-cherishing mind and tendency is completely destroyed. The cause of all your suffering, your future suffering, is completely destroyed. Just by taking in all this suffering in the form of black smoke, as soon as it reaches your heart, is completely destroyed. And your self-cherishing mind is also destroyed. And so your mind feels free. You have a feeling of great joy as you think, now I've destroyed all my future suffering. Now I've freed myself from all problems, suffering and torment for the rest of this life and all my future lives. And as you think and contemplate what you've accomplished, a feeling of great joy grows in your mind as you realize how you've become free. And this feeling of joy grows and grows. Until your whole being is the nature of joy. With every breath, this experience of joy gets stronger and stronger until your whole being is the nature of joy. So just relax into this feeling. And for the last minute, try to have a deep feeling of joy having destroyed all your future suffering. So now you can begin to relax your concentration again, and then you can arise from meditation. All right. So now you can completely look forward to a joyful life free of all problems. But if you keep doing this meditation, you're in the same way, you keep visualizing yourself becoming free. And naturally your mind will tend to create the causes of becoming free. Just naturally. You just do the meditation like Steve Backley did the visualization of throwing the javelin, and then eventually, with no proper training, he just throws the javelin and wins the silver medal. So you can win the gold medal for freedom. So now that we've freed ourselves from suffering, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same for everybody else. Yeah? So maybe we start with our close friends and family. That's what we usually do. We don't leave them to the last. We start with the people that we're close to, that we realize they're suffering. Why are we close to people? Because we care for them. Yeah, we care for people that we're close to, that we're familiar with. But then we also have other acquaintances who we understand they're suffering too. And you think, do you know anybody who's not suffering? Anybody who's not got any problems? Do you have any pets? They never have any problems. Your kittens, your cats, your puppies, your dogs. Every living being has problems and difficulties. Every animal. Just watch David Attenborough programs. You see the suffering of animals there. And every living being in samsara is experiencing the same things, often so much worse. And so essentially, rarely do we think about it. So if I ask you, how are you? You think, I'm fine. Yeah, how are you? But really, we're not. We're not fine. And nobody else is either. So essentially, we're surrounded by a vast sea of suffering. If you think, a few days ago, I was walking around the lake, and I saw the two swans been there for a long time. And they had 5, and they call them signets. They had 5 signets. No, sorry, it's the wrong one. It was ducklings. There's 2 ducklings, and they had 10 little yellow furry ducklings. 2 ducks and 10 ducklings. And then 2 days later there was only 5. And that's the nature of our existence. Think of the minds of, if we had 10 children and the next day there was only 5 children left. What would we feel? And so this is samsara. And so we develop the thought, it doesn't have to be like this. Suffering is an aspect of mind. And we don't necessarily change the fact that ducklings disappear overnight or children disappear overnight. We don't necessarily change that, but we change the way in which our mind relates to it. And perhaps even also we begin to change the causes of other living beings experiencing similar problems. So what we're trying to accomplish, becoming the best we can be, is to enable every living being to experience peace and freedom from suffering. And so in this second meditation, what we're going to do is imagining that we're taking away the causes of suffering of every other living being. And those who are close to us, their close relatives and close friends, our other acquaintances, people we meet, people we've met in the past, even the difficult ones. Everybody seems to have difficult people from their past. Buddha says there are no difficult people, only difficult minds. So, and then there's other people we've never met. And if we just imagine that we're appearing everybody, every living being is appearing all around us. Even animals and insects and fish and birds and so on, but everyone is appearing in a human form. Just makes it easier that way. So imagine every living being is appearing in a human form, and they're all gathered around us. Our parents of this life are on our right-hand side, our father on right and mother on the left. And then all our close relatives all gathered around us, close friends. And then beyond them, acquaintances, people we know less well. And then beyond them, people we've never met, but we just know that they exist. So we imagine ourselves surrounded by all these living beings, all appearing in a human form. And first, what we have to do is to ask how they are. So if you ask each of them, how are you? And they say, I'm fine. They're not. You see their suffering. You understand their suffering because you understand your own. And from your own mind of empathy, you begin to understand their suffering. And then you begin to wish, because I care for these people, I don't want them to continue to experience that suffering. And the same with my acquaintance, I don't want them to continue to experience suffering. And it's the same again as it was for me. It's not just for one lifetime, it's lifetime after lifetime. And when you think, even just the people you're close to, what their future suffering is going to be like. And then you multiply that by everyone you've ever met, and then everyone you've never met. And you realize this amount of suffering is unbearable. I have to do something. I have to destroy this experience of suffering. Not just for those who are close to me, but for everybody. Imagine if we were able to accomplish that. It's like letting off an atomic explosion that just destroys everybody's suffering. So create the atomic explosion in your mind. And so we can again do this in meditation. So again, sit in good meditation posture. Again, for a few moments, just watch the rhythm of your own breathing. Just trying to allow your mind to become still. And then imagine that you're sitting peacefully in the middle of a vast flat plain. And seated around you are your close relatives and friends close to you. Your father of this life on your right hand, your mother of this life on your left hand. And beyond them are your other acquaintances, again all gathered around you. People you meet from time to time, people you used to know, your neighbors, people who live in the same town or city. And then beyond them are all other living beings that you've never met. You just know that they exist. And you're surrounded by this vast sea of humanity, stretching in every direction over the horizon. So at first, you simply observe, and you ask yourself the question, how are they? How are they really? Those people who are close to me, my acquaintances, and all those I've never met. And you realize that every one of them has experienced difficulties, suffering, torment, both physical and mental. And when you contemplate this vast sea of suffering, this vast ocean of suffering. You realize it's not just for one lifetime. It's for countless lifetimes. And when you realize that, you think, this is unbearable to me. I must do my best to put an end to this suffering right now. And so we think, I'll do whatever it takes to destroy this experience of suffering permanently. And so you turn your attention first of all to those who are close to you. And when you have this mind of determination, this superior intention, I will take away all your suffering right now. Just having that mind causes their suffering to transform into black smoke. And this black smoke from all your close relatives and friends comes in front of you and gathers into a small cloud. And so now you take on other suffering. You take it into your heart. You take this cloud of thick black smoke into your heart. And again, it immediately destroys your self-cherishing mind. And at the same time is completely destroyed. This is your mind of compassion that destroys that suffering of those who are close to you. And now when you look at those, you realize that now they're free permanently. No more suffering for them. And then you turn your attention to your other acquaintances, even people that you've had difficulties with. And you think, I cannot bear their suffering either. I'll do whatever it takes to destroy their suffering too. And again, that mind causes their suffering to appear as black smoke, which also gathers in front of you into another small cloud. And see this cloud, and again with your mind of compassion, take it into your heart. Where it's immediately destroyed. And you can feel it destroying your self-cherishing mind. And again, when you look at what we've accomplished, you see these two are completely free from their suffering. And then you turn your mind to those you've never met. And again you feel the suffering of all these beings, even though I've never met them. I cannot bear to think about their suffering. In a sense, they're just like me. Just like everyone else, they want to be free too. And so again, with your mind of superior intention, I'll do whatever it takes to free them from their suffering. I myself will do whatever it takes. And so again, all this vast ocean of suffering comes in the form of black smoke and gathers again into a cloud in front of you. And again, with great compassion, you take it into your heart. Again, it's completely destroyed, and destroys whatever remains as your own mind of self-cherishing. And now when you survey all these living beings, from those close to you, through your acquaintances to those you've never met, and now you see they're all free. No more suffering, no more torment, no more difficulties ever in all their future lives. And this is what you have accomplished. And also, you feel free yourself. And when you realize this great accomplishment, your mind just begins to sing with joy. With every breath you take, this experience of joy grows and grows. Until again, your whole being is just the nature of joy. And so you can relax into that feeling. The joy that arises from your own mind of compassion and your compassionate actions. Just relax into that feeling of joy. the last minute or so, try to have a deep experience of joy, having taken away and destroyed the sufferings of every living being, without exception. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. And when you're ready, you can arise from meditation. So, we can do this practice of taking on the sufferings of others for ourselves. And I think in the beginning it's recommended that we do this for ourselves for a while, and then we begin to do it for other people too. Again, we're training in our imagination. And so when we're training in taking on the sufferings of others, we can imagine we're doing it in all living beings at once, as we just did. But we can also do it for individuals and groups of people. So you can do it, let's say you get sick with something, maybe you got a difficult ailment, a difficult sickness that's going on. And you can do it for everyone else who has the same sickness. Yeah. Many people have used it in our tradition and many other examples in the scriptures of people who have had cancer, for example, and then they just engage in taking on the cancers of other people, the same cancer of other people, and in the process their own cancer goes into remission. What's the explanation that's given is that this mind of compassion is destroying the physical nature of the compassion, of the sickness, not the compassion. Destroying the physical nature of the sickness by purifying our mind. So and that's what's happening, because as our mind becomes pure, many good things can happen if we attain the realizations of all the stages of the path to enlightenment very quickly, because the purity of our mind is becoming more and more free of obstructions that prevent us from becoming more loving, more compassionate, and more wise, and so on. So it's a very powerful meditation practice. Yes. So if you have a particular friend who's sick, you can do it for them. If you have a group of people that you know is experiencing particular problems, a family, you can do it for them. There's many different ways in which you can use this practice of taking. But remember, what's happening is we're purifying our mind. Maybe at the moment we don't have the power to take away others' suffering, but we're training to be able to accomplish that at some time in the future. Like Milarepa. You become like Milarepa. Give people's headaches to the door. Or,
Instead of giving them one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to give people headaches out of compassion. Do you have any questions? Yeah, well, maybe some questions will appear while you're having tea or coffee, you know. So So, okay, shall we have a break then? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, tea and coffee in the cafe and back in 45 minutes at 12. And there's a beautiful park across the road, the beautiful people just outside the back door. It's very
I'm cold anyway.
okay. You didn't feel any draft?
No, we should.
Yeah.
I could feel the sun.
It's nice
when you
Oh, we get the sun, we get the air. You can sit here next.
Yeah, but I'll be fine. The sun's
Yeah,
lifting now.
go get warmed up in the car.
Thank you.
So, in this session, we're going to engage in giving love, giving happiness, not just the temporary happiness, but permanent peace and happiness. And we accomplish that by changing ourselves. Just imagining, because we care so much about other people, that we have a mind that sees how they fail to find real happiness. And this applies to everyone. Everyone's searching in the wrong place for happiness. We're all searching externally. You know, having, as I said earlier, a nice environment, nice lifestyle, and so on. And we spend so much energy searching for these things that go up to make this beautiful lifestyle. But it's not real. It's not real happiness. If it was, then everyone who experienced a desirable lifestyle would always be happy. But we know that doesn't apply. You know, things like wealth, status, power, that many people long for, is this cause of real suffering. If you think of everyone who has these things, great wealth, great power, great status, and ask yourself, are they really happy? Do you think Keir Starmer is really happy? Do you think the previous prime ministers were really happy? Do you think Donald Trump is really happy? Do you think... Sorry. And any head of state, ask yourself, are they really happy? And you can see they're not. You know. So the question is, where does real happiness come from? It comes from our own peaceful mind. And how do we create that peaceful mind? We create minds of love and compassion and wisdom. So in this mind of giving love, giving happiness, we're transforming ourselves. And it's called transforming our inner energy person. You know, we all have inner energies going on within our being. You know, just for example, if you want to raise your hand, how do you manage to raise your hand? Well, how does that work? You know, your hand doesn't do it spontaneously on its own account. Some things have to happen within you. You have to develop, first of all, the thought, oh, I want to raise my hand. And then from that thought comes all kinds of other energy systems that we're not generally aware of. But then our hand raises. It's like magic. And it's the same with, you know, our whole being is functioning like that. So there's a whole set of inner energy systems that they comprise what's known as our subtle body. This is our gross meat body, but we have an internal body that is like our inner energy body. And that's, in essence, our real body. And because we're creating it moment by moment and day by day with our mind. Our mind and this energy body, this subtle body, are closely related. But this meat body actually comes from our parents. Yeah, you understand? Yeah. So it's, in essence, it belongs to our parents. It comes from them, it belongs to them. So the only thing that belongs to us is our inner energy body. And so we change this inner energy body into a wish-fulfilling jewel. Imagine this extraordinary jewel about the size of your fist at your heart. And imagine this jewel has extreme power that arises from your own mind. And from this jewel at your heart, rays of light radiate. At first, this light just fills your whole body. And these rays of light are a manifestation of your own mind of love. They come from your mind of love, and they are the nature of your mind of love. So this light is radiating from your heart. It's filling your whole body. And then it becomes so powerful that it radiates through every pore of your body. So imagine when you're sitting in the middle of this vast flat plain, your body is just radiating light in every direction. This is you. And so your love is radiating in every direction. And this love that you have is so powerful that it transforms everyone who is touched by this wisdom light. And as soon as this light touches them, their minds are completely transformed, and so they experience immeasurable joy. Immeasurable joy. Joy without measure. And this is permanent. It's unchanging. And so you've done it. You've taken away the suffering of every living being, and you've given them happiness instead. Again, we're doing this with visualization, with our own imagination, but again we're training our mind. And if we do the training, then the result will appear. What we're doing is creating causes, moment by moment in our meditations, or day by day if we do this meditation every day. We're creating causes every moment to be able to have the extraordinary power to be able to give happiness to other people. So, shall we do this? So again, sitting in good meditation posture. Just watch your breath for a few moments. Allow your mind to become still. So again, imagine you're sitting in the middle of a vast, flat plain. And again, you're surrounded by all living beings. Your close relatives and friends are nearest to you, and those you have never met are more distant. And in between are your acquaintances. And you turn your mind to the first group, closest to you. And again you ask, how are they? Are they happy? And you notice that there are times when they experience happiness, but it's purely temporary. And even the things that they enjoy seem to bring problems as well. And the thought arises that I wish they could be really happy all the time. I wish they could find real inner peace. And the thought arises, I will give it to them. So imagine that your heart transforms into a beautiful, wish-fulfilling jewel. This is your real being, your real self. And this wish-fulfilling jewel at your heart radiates light in every direction. And this light is a manifestation of your mind of love. At first the light is so strong it fills your whole body. And then it radiates through every pore of your body, and spreading all around you, touching all of those living beings who are close to you. And then spreading out even further and touching all your acquaintances. And you notice as this wave of love spreads outwards, every living being who is touched by this light, their lives are completely transformed. And they experience immeasurable joy. And then the light spreads even further and touches every living being you've never met, stretching right over the horizon in every direction. And again, you simply observe what you've accomplished, and you see everyone, their lives have been transformed. From those who are closest to you, even to those you've never met. And you realize what you've accomplished. And this realization brings you extraordinary joy. And again, the more you realize what you've done, this feeling of joy grows and grows, until again your whole being becomes the nature of joy. And you simply relax into this feeling. The joy of bringing peace and happiness to every other living being. Just abide in this feeling of joy for a short while. And for the last minute or so, try a deep experience of joy arising from your own mind of love, wishing others to be happy, and feeling you can actually accomplish that. So now you can relax your concentration again. When you're ready, you can arise from meditation. So now we've done the practice of taking and the practice of giving. Now we can combine them into one meditation. And so we practice taking and giving. So you can imagine, what we're going to do is, in this time, instead of thinking about all living beings, think about either one person or a small group of people that you're familiar with. And when you realize they're suffering, even though they don't appear to be of any particular problems, you understand that underlying their existence is the experience of suffering. And because you really care about them, you really want to take away their suffering. And so we do the same practice. Imagine that their suffering transforms into black smoke again, and you take it into your heart. So you're taking into specific people, taking it into your heart. And then again, from your mind of love, your wish-fulfilling jewel at your heart, the light of your love radiates outwards and transforms their life. Yeah. And you know, when you're in meditation, this is what's appearing to your mind. So when you're in meditation like this is your reality. It's not just false. Although it is imagination, it's your reality in that moment. So if you meditate like this sufficiently and often enough, then your reality is appearing to you more and more. So we come to, in our so-called waking world, we think, oh, well, this is my reality. But in essence, your reality in any moment is simply what's appearing to your mind. So right now, this room and everything in it is appearing to your mind. So that's your reality in this moment. But if you're meditating, where you're creating this imagination, that you're freeing everyone from their suffering, and you're giving them real happiness instead, that is real for you. That's your reality in that moment. So essentially it's up to you how often that appears and how long it appears, you know, and for whom it appears too. So sometimes it's good to take your most difficult cases. People, maybe you have somebody in your life that you find real difficulty with. Yeah. So I think possibly they're might be the best people to do this practice on. But what we're doing, in essence, is changing our mind, practicing these minds of compassion and love. And these minds are pure minds. They're pure because they're not contaminated by delusions. And so the more we have these pure minds, the more familiar we become with having a pure mind. So eventually we could have a pure mind all the time. Yeah, I mean, we talk about how how we could accomplish that later. So we do this combining, taking and giving. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You okay? Okay. Yeah, just do it. So again, sit in good meditation posture. Just follow your mind to watch the breath. And then bring to mind one individual or a group of persons. If you have a particular difficulty or a problem at the moment, then you can imagine everyone who has the same difficulty or same problem. Sometimes we suffer from attachment, so we could take as our object everyone else who has that same suffering from attachment. Or a particular illness, everyone else who has the same illness. And try to develop a clear image of this person or this group and how they experience suffering on a daily basis, both physical and mental difficulties. And how, although they long for happiness, any happiness and they come as simply transitional, simple worldly pleasures or changing suffering. It's not real. It's not the real happiness that comes from inner peace. And so when you have spent time observing them, and because you care about them, you think, I want to take away their suffering. I care for them so much. I want to take away their suffering. And I care so much I will even take it into myself. I'll even take their suffering upon myself so they can be free. And when that mind of superior intention arises, it causes their suffering to transform into black smoke. And the black smoke leaves them and gathers into a cloud in front of you. And you see this dark cloud, and you realize it's the sufferings, the permanent sufferings of all these beings that I'm caring for. And so with a mind of great compassion, you take all of this cloud of black smoke into your heart, and immediately is completely destroyed, and destroys your own mind of self-cherishing. And in that moment, your heart transforms into a beautiful, wish-fulfilling jewel. And you think, now I will give them my happiness and my potential for happiness. I will give them my happiness and my potential for happiness so they can be happy. And so again, this beautiful light radiates from your heart, radiating through every pore of your body and touching the person or persons in front of you. And spontaneously they experience immeasurable joy. All their wishes are completely fulfilled. The happiness they long for comes to them. And this is permanent, unchanging, immeasurable joy. And so you realize that through the power of your own mind, you've transformed the person in front of you, or the persons. And now they are completely free and experience only immeasurable joy. And as you imagine this, as you realize what you've accomplished, your own mind of joy grows and grows with every breath. Until again, your whole being becomes the nature of joy. So relax again into this feeling. The joy that comes from the practice of taking and giving. So again, you can begin to relax your concentration. And when you're ready, you can arise from meditation. So I would encourage you to try to do this meditation daily. And you will notice big differences in a relatively short space of time. Your love and compassion will grow dramatically. And then you begin to experience that your understanding of Dharma grows exponentially as well. Understanding of Buddhist teachings grows, and just naturally you're becoming a better person. Nobody else needs to know about it, but you just know inside that you're becoming a better person. So the last part of this session is to enable you to do this practice when we're out of meditation. Yes, yes.
When you're sending these thoughts to people getting better, are you thinking it, or are you thinking it, feeling it, or does it matter?
You're thinking it, and then you're feeling it too. Yeah. And if we experience things with the mental factor feeling. So if we're experiencing it, yes, that's the perfect thing. Initially we create the imagination, and then if we're feeling it, that's wonderful. It shows it's working.
So if you've got somebody already that you offer sort of empathy or love to,
yes.
You know that they're suffering, it sort of comes from the heart.
Yes.
But when we're doing this today, I don't know if I'm still a little tired, I felt like I could hold them in my head, but it sort of wasn't as naturally flowing that way.
Yeah. I mean, they say the longest distance in the world is from the mind, from the head to the heart. Yeah, and then if we can make that journey, then we're working with our real mind, our basic mind. Yeah, not just intellectually, and it becomes much more real. So, yeah, we can do this practice just walking around. You go for a walk in the park, and you can do this practice it's called mounting the practice of taking and giving upon the breath. So we kind of breathe all the time. So we could be practicing this all the time. So the way it works is as we breathe in, we imagine we're breathing in all the suffering of whoever we want to think about. And if we know one in particular, we can just imagine all the birds, the insects all around, the animals all around, all the dachshunds in the park.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's Dachshund Central on Saturdays.
Sausage factory.
And so you're just imagining the suffering of all these animals, and you're breathing in their suffering in the form of black smoke. And then you're giving out love, and you're bringing them great joy and happiness and whatever they want, ice cream or whatever. Yeah. So, and so you just be strolling around, using your own imagination again. As you breathe in the black smoke, breathe out the white light. In this case, mounting it on the breathing, instead of taking it into your heart directly, you breathe in the black smoke which goes down to your heart. And then as you breathe out, you imagine that your breath is the pure light that's radiating outwards. And you could be doing it for all living beings as well. You have great scope, great flexibility. Yeah, this is a story. When the Tibetan lamas were taken prisoner by the Chinese guards, and they were being tortured. And the guards thought, well, it was very strange because they kept smiling all the time. And they said, well, why do you keep smiling when we're torturing you? And he says, well, we're just taking on your suffering and giving them our happiness instead, and so that we don't experience the suffering, and it's just joyful like any other situation. And so the monks, the guards said to them, well, you must teach us how to do this. So they agreed, and they taught them how to do this practice of taking and giving. And the guards became so peaceful that they just let them go. So you could become so peaceful that you let all the people you're torturing, let them go. So, well, we can do this meditation as well. So again, with a mind of great compassion, just allow your mind to become still by watching your breath. And again, bring to mind a person or a group of persons, not necessarily human. And then ask yourself, how are they? And you realize they appear to you as suffering living beings. Failing to find the happiness they long for. And so you keep them in your mind, and you determine to free them from their suffering and give them the happiness from your mind of love instead. So again, you imagine their suffering transforming into black smoke. And you see this black smoke, and you joyfully breathe it in with your mind of compassion. I cannot bear for them to continue to suffer like this. And so you breathe the black smoke of their suffering, and you take it down to your heart. You really feel it entering your body and going down to your heart, where it's completely destroyed by your compassionate mind, and at the same time destroys your own self-cherishing, the cause of your own suffering. And then from your heart, the wish-fulfilling jewel at your heart, you determine, I will give them myself my happiness. I will give them my happiness and my future happiness. You understand, this is such an extraordinary love. And so you breathe out the white light from the beautiful jewel at your heart. You breathe out the white light that touches them. And again, they're immediately transformed. And again, when you realize this, what you've accomplished, you just spontaneously abide and experience a deep level of joy. If your experience of joy fades, just go back to the first stage. Again, breathe in the smoke of their suffering, and breathe out the light from your heart of love. See the transformation of their life and their lives, and experience the joy that comes from effecting that transformation. So again, you can begin to relax your concentration. And when you're ready, you can arise from meditation. One of the things that some people will say is, I've got enough suffering myself, I don't want to take on anybody else's. But you know, suffering can be a very good thing when we realize it. The ancient Kadampas, the followers of Atisha in the 11th century, they were great scholars and great practitioners, and they were known as the old Kadampas. And it was said that because they were such great practitioners, they had minds made of iron, and very strong minds, able to deal with any difficulties that come along. And it's like they had a mind like an anvil, you know, a blacksmith's anvil. You can smash great hammers on the anvil, it doesn't move, doesn't crack, doesn't change. So, and they have this because they're able to take on any suffering at all and deal with any problem or difficulty or torment that comes along. It's no big deal. Because their mind is so powerful. And it becomes so powerful through this mind of compassion and love. Because they're just entirely focused on their core values of seeking enlightenment to be able to benefit all living beings. And they understand that dealing with compassion is one of the best ways to accomplish this. So, yeah, don't be afraid of suffering, but use it to transform your mind into something extraordinary, something strong, powerful, that's able to deal with any difficulty. So there. Does anyone have any questions? And in the process, be happy to take on other people's suffering. The moment you can't do that, you know, you can't take physically other people's suffering, but what we, as I said earlier, what we're doing is training our mind, and eventually that power will come, just like Milarepa. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
When I'm meditating, my hand keeps twitching, breaking the concentration. Is that normal?
I don't know. I don't have it myself, but
something new.
It's funny because in the meditation, people mind. You know the way, because sometimes when you're falling asleep, you're like,
okay.
I'm still pretending to meditate. Perhaps it's because we're taking on all this.
Yeah, that's right. You know, one of the things we can think about if we get ill ourselves, that we're taking on the sufferings of others who are experiencing the same thing.
The person that I was thinking about has a bad knee.
There you go. There you go. So it works.
That's scary.
Yeah, don't be afraid of it, just use it.
That sometimes those ancient geshes would get sick, and they said they were taking on suffering.
Yes. Yeah. And Venerable Geshe said that's what Jesus was doing on the cross. taking on the sufferings of others. And so Geshe himself says that Jesus was like a great bodhisattva. Yeah. Okay. Shall we finish? Thank you so much.